Welcome to Unhinged with A&M. I'm Miranda.
I'm Ari.
Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to get political.
Political talks. It's what drives families apart and together, depending on where you're from.
Depending on where everybody stands, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like politics is incredibly prevalent today, especially given the events that happened over the weekend.
Yeah. So we're recording this like a few weeks early.
Yeah.
Compared to when you guys are hearing this. So what just happened over this weekend was another attempt assassination on Donald Trump.
Oop.
I'm like, this episode couldn't come out at a better, fresher time in our head.
Seriously. And what's crazy to think is that we're recording this, 3 weeks in advance? Who knows what's going to happen between now and when this episode actually comes out, too.
Oh, my gosh. I don't... it's crazy. It's crazy.
I feel like things happen so quickly these days. It's kind of overwhelming and hard to keep up with. I don't know about you.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we'll get into all the nitty-gritty, like maybe January 6th, that was a big one. But I kind of want to start at the beginning. Like, when was politics kind of introduced to you, first time ever?
Well, I feel like it was kind of something that we talked about in my house growing up. Like, I kind of remember when Obama was running for his first term.
Yep, I remember that too.
Like, it was elementary school. He was going against McCain. Who was that? McCain?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I was really young. I'm pretty sure it was McCain. And I remember my parents being upset that
a black man
was running for president. Like, my parents have always leaned more on the Republican side of things. And I look back at it now, obviously when I was younger, I didn't understand why they were so against Obama.
Yeah.
But they were very much against him, which is hilarious to me that my parents cared so much about the presidential race because they don't vote in presidential elections.
What?
So they have very strong opinions,
but they won't put that
about who the president is, but they won't vote. They're the kind of people that are like, my vote in the presidential election doesn't count, so I'm just not going.
I hate that
to. It's so
counterproductive.
Yeah.
You know? I let my opinions be known, but I won't do anything to actually make those opinions known, you know?
And they didn't like Obama, and I think a lot of it was they just didn't like his more democratic policies. They hated Obamacare, which I feel like was kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
I can kind of understand why people didn't like it too much. But then I remember when it was Obama's second term and he was running against Mitt Romney, my mom hated Romney.
Oh.
She hated him because she thought he was a woman hater. So at that point, they're like, okay, well, we would prefer Obama. My mom's such weird when it comes to feminism.
Yeah.
She is very much about abortion and women's rights. And if the woman's main role isn't to be in the kitchen, she's very against all of that notion. She's very independent. But then she also is well, you can't dress like slutty.
It's counter.
There's a lot of things when it comes to my parents, and I can get into this later, is they're very, I guess, kind of hypocritical when it comes to some of their views on politics.
Yeah.
But I would say the first and second Obama terms are about when I really started thinking about politics. It wasn't until my freshman year of college, though, that I started to really think about politics for myself. But where did you?
So at my school, my elementary school here in Greeley, so what happened was during the debates, and it, back then with Obama and him, it was cordial debates. It was legitimately okay for kids to watch.
Yeah.
So during school, they brought us to the library and we were watching either a debate or the inaugural address or State of the Union, one of the two. And it was boring is all I remember,
Yeah.
which, you know, rightfully so, like politics, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But that was my first introduction. And when I came home and I told my parents about it, they're like, what did you think of the two guys who are going to be or trying to go for president? And they're like, which one do you want? And I'm like, the younger guy. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because the older one might die in office.
I mean, valid point. I feel like that's a valid point.
So that was little 7-year-old me.
Yeah.
Like, that was my opinion. I was like, he might die. We should go for the younger one.
I mean, I feel like that is a valid reason because I do get worried about all like these really old dudes
Right.
going into office. And I'm like, you
look like you're about to peel over.
like, you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s even. And I'm like, what are we doing?
What are we doing? Oh, but yeah. So that was like my introduction. But I don't think I really got into politics either. My senior year of high school. That's when it was Trump and Hillary. And that's when it was like
Yep, that was my freshman year.
Like
of college,
political tension, you know? And then I could go into all about that too. So I was disappointed that I couldn't vote because my birthday's in December.
Yeah.
And of course, election took place in November. So I was off by a month. And I'm like,
damn.
I was like, I really wish I could have. But with all the tension that was coming with it, I'm like, well, I mean, I guess things happen for a reason. Like, it felt too heavy and I felt too unprepared to even have my own vote, like, considered. Like, I didn't know how I felt about things. Like, this is my introduction to voting. And I'm like, this is the worst election to vote in.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't help that Hillary had her own, what do you call it? Like, conflicts.
The emails.
Like, if we were going to have a woman president, I feel like we should have had a solid, no shady stuff in the background kind of president.
I mean, but like, Hillary compared to
Trump,
I know. Especially in the current Trump administration.
Oh my God.
I would take
Hillary.
The emails.
Yeah, I would take the emails.
Like, I feel like Hillary would have been a good first female president.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she would have been perfect by any means, but
it would be a good start.
Yeah, it would have been a good start. I'll say, I remember, so I admittedly did not vote in that election because I was still really new to politics.
Same.
I was figuring out what it is that I believed in, and I still very much had like my parents in my ear, but then I was also starting to become more, I guess, quote unquote, liberal. I went to college and it made me liberal. Is essentially
makes a person liberal. Did you know there's actually a legitimate study on that? And they're like, yeah, people who tend to go to college tend to be more liberal. I wonder why.
It's like I'm educated.
It's like you're educated.
I remember I was like super into Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if it had been him up for the Democratic candidacy, he probably would have won the election.
Yeah, I love Bernie.
I loved Bernie, and I followed along with everything that he did. And like a lot of his policies to me just felt like common sense.
Yeah,
like healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't everybody just have access
to healthcare?
To healthcare, like why does it have to be
to do it
so expensive to go to the doctors when I'm sick? Like, I don't know. And like his policy about like equal rights marriage and the LGBT community, and it's like they're just people.
Yeah,
they should be able to marry who they want. Like, I don't know. To me, it just felt like common sense. And there's a lot of like things in politics that I'm like, why is any of this even up for debate? It makes zero sense to me. And so I was really into Bernie. And it's like, I kind of regret not putting in my vote in the primaries for him. Because, I mean, I was 18. I was able to do it, but I just didn't. Now that, like, I feel like my one singular vote would have gone. No, it wouldn't have. But, yeah.
Yeah. After the election with Hillary and Trump, we got our first Trump administration. I was like, okay, I feel like I need to educate myself on politics. And so I tried that, went on YouTube and watched videos. And I got like so depressed, like learning about stuff. I'm like, I can't, for my own mental fortitude, like this isn't worth it. This isn't going to be beneficial to me in the long run if I'm so depressed about politics to even consider their policies. So what I inadvertently ended up doing, I got like a little clip from Comedy Central of The Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
I love Trevor Noah.
I love Trevor Noah. And it made politics digestible and, not as heavy because you make a joke about it a little bit. You're like, haha, and Trump is stupid. Like, and it makes it a lot better.
It does make it easier, yeah.
So, like, when I started watching The Daily Show, like, religiously.
Yeah.
Like, of every day of the week, watching each episode, like, oh, this is what's happening in the world.
Yeah, I was like a little social justice warrior online during the first Trump administration. And like I would get into arguments with people in Facebook comments all the time. I would...
That's my girl.
and I would like share any piece of political news that like came across my timeline. Like I was in it. And I could have maybe even seen myself getting into politics more if it didn't make me, like you said, so depressed eventually. And like it got exhausting after a while of like fighting people in the comments of Facebook because it's like my comment's not going to change their opinion. I remember there was this one guy that I used to work with at the dining hall that I got into an argument on Facebook about abortion. And he was very against abortion, like, you're killing babies. And so we got into an argument in one of my Facebook comment posts about it. And he tried to do the whole, well, let like bygones be bygones. We have differences in opinions, blah, blah, blah. And I responded, I was like, I don't want to be friends with someone that doesn't believe that a woman has
a right to
decide her own health care.
Yeah.
And so then I deleted him and I blocked him. But apparently one of his last comments, which I did not see, was him calling me a baby killer.
Perfect way to end. Fuck you.
But he was already blocked by the time he made the comment, so I never got to see it. But yeah, one of my friends are like, yeah, he called you a baby killer. And I was like,
damn.
Yes.
Sue me. What are you gonna do about? Oh yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Honestly, abortion is always like the source of topics.
Yeah.
Like so my mom was very anti-abortion. Like, so a little bit about me, and this goes into my own background, is my biological father is not my current father. He's not who I live with. I've never met my biological father. And so I could have very well been a product of an abortion if my mom chose it. But my mom strictly was against that. So when I got into politics, I was like, okay, I feel like everyone should have their own choice. And my mom was avidly against me.
Oh,
like,
really?
We had an actual like political fight to where like I was scared if I kept on talking, it might ruin our relationship forever. It was that intense.
Dang.
And so I said, Mom, like, I understand your opinions, but understand that, because her reasoning was she knew a woman in her high school who would use abortion like birth control.
Yeah.
And so, like, I get that perspective, and I'm like, but not everyone is like that.
Right. Well, and still, like, at the end of the day, it's that woman's decision. Like, I don't think that abortion is the accurate form of birth control.
Yeah.
Like, there's other ways to do it. But, like, also, if that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's what the woman wants to do with her time and her money and her health, then, like, that's on her. Who are we to stop her and, like, tell her, like, oh, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. And I think it was just, like, that moral dilemma if she's like, every time she had an abortion, every time she killed a child, like, that mentality got to her. And so I put my hands up and I was like, Mom, I'm sorry that you feel this way. Maybe one day we could, reconvene, but I will talk to you. I love you. I will talk to you about anything and everything between the sun and the moon. I will not talk to you about abortion ever again, is what I told her. And I'm like, because this might ruin our relationship. I never would want that. And she agreed. And years later, she started talking to other friends who had to abort her child due to medical reasons. And she consulted my mom because she was having such a hard time with it. And she's like, I felt like I killed my child. Like, she was devastated for herself and her unborn child. And my mom, like, that flipped a switch for her in realizing, oh, shoot, like, that was a very broad judgment. I shouldn't have done that. And so now she agrees with me, you know, have a choice, but don't abuse it if you can help it, you know?
Yeah. My mom is very much the same with that. Your mom's, like, switched viewpoint. Like it's a woman's choice.
Yeah.
My mom got pregnant with me when she was 17. And so she definitely had that thought where she could terminate the pregnancy.
Yeah.
But she ultimately decided for herself that's not something that she wanted to do. But, like, she understands why it could be a choice for other people and why other women, especially young women like she was when she had me, would want to make that decision. Like, for her, it didn't feel like it was the right choice, but she could understand maybe one of her friends who was the same age would go out and
do
it. So I am grateful that my mom and I have always agreed on that kind of portion of politics. And, like, it's weird because there's, like, a lot of things that my family, my parents and I agree on, but there's enough that we don't agree on where it's like
it causes that strain.
It causes a lot of strain. Yeah.
And that makes sense. And then working in education like we do, we have a lot of kids that come in with heightened opinions, but also with the at-risk youth, you know. We come in with a lot of teen pregnancies. And, like, that's hard on a different degree because we are not allowed to give them our opinions. We're not allowed to give them, like, our suggestions. We're not medical professionals, which I totally get. Like, I wouldn't want to do that anyways. But it's hard to, like, look at a kid and be like, so I have this one girl, and I moved sites recently, so I don't see her as much anymore. And it was a whole incident. The police were involved. But ultimately, trigger warning for this episode, I'll put it ahead of time. But she was raped by a group of boys, and she was pregnant. And she went up to my coworker, and she asked, what do I do? Do I keep it? Or do I terminate it? And he had he was a teen dad. So, like, he had a heart-to-heart with her. And I don't know, like, the details of it, just know that they talked. But ultimately, she's like, yeah, I'm going to, you know, abort this child.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, that's so hard.
That's really hard, yeah.
And I'm like, she's my own student, so, like, I know her. I know what's going through her head most of the time. But this, like, blindsided me. And I'm like, for being a supportive and caring adult to a teenager who's gone through that's I don't know what to do. And so, like, I was glad that she didn't go to me for it because I might have just broke down crying because I'm like, I don't know what to say.
That's really hard. And I think examples like that, though, are a great reason why we should always have access to abortion. Like, I understand that some people view it as, like, you're just terminating a pregnancy to terminate a pregnancy because you don't want to face the actions of your consequences or the consequences of your actions.
That's
how it goes.
Yeah.
But, like, what are you're gonna expect a young girl like that who's been through what she's been through? You're going to have her, like, that's not her fault.
Yeah.
That she got pregnant. Like, she didn't consent to that, but you're
gonna force it on her anyways. You're gonna
still force it on her anyways, and then she's gonna probably grow up to
resent the
child because it's just, that child's just a memory of this horrible act that happened to her against her will.
Yeah.
Like, and I hate the whole idea of, is like, oh, well, you can always just put them up for adoption. Do you know how many children
are in the system?
In the system? Like,
it's stupid ridiculous.
Like, you're just going to continue to overflood the system with that mentality. And it's like, oh, if you think adoption is an option, why don't you adopt that child then?
Yeah.
Because I don't see these people who are being like, oh, just put the child up for adoption, adopting these kids.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm like, that's why, like, it's hard to reason with them. Because you're like, we see both sides.
Yeah.
You know, we see, like, we have our own, you know, every now and then we'll have our own pregnancy scares. Like, oh, no, maybe I am pregnant. And you're like, you take the test just in case. And you're like, oh, no, it was a false alarm. My parents just, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but then you have the actual kids that come to us and they're like, Miss, I don't know what to do. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And so it gets sticky and I hate it. And pro-choice.
Pro-choice. Yep. It is not my
body.
It is
their choice.
Not my business. If abortion just happens to be your form of birth control, it's a choice.
Yeah.
I don't say it would be my first choice when it comes to birth control, but like it's not my business.
Yeah.
And you know, there are people in my life that have had to get abortions because of medical reasons.
100%.
And it's like, but again, their medical stuff isn't my business.
Yeah.
It's like you never know why a woman is going to get an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what the reason is for. It's their HIPAA exists for a reason.
Right.
And it's like, it's just, yeah, you never know why they're doing it. It could be just because, or it could be because of a medical emergency.
Yeah.
It's nobody's nobody's business but that woman's.
A closing thought on abortion, since this became a hot topic for some reason. So when I was living in Colorado Springs and I was having all that medical stuff going on, I went to my clinic because medical stuff is going on.
Yeah.
And right next to my clinic was a Planned Parenthood where people were actively protesting. And as we were driving in, they were yelling into my window. And I'm like, you don't know I'm going to Planned Parenthood. Yeah. And even if I was, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, like, the thing is that Planned Parenthood does more than just abortions. And that's also what like pisses me off. Because like, what if you're going in because you think you might have breast cancer?
Exactly.
And you're being like, you're a baby killer. And it's like, no, I might have cancer, but okay.
Yeah. And I really wish I could like throw my, birth control pills at them and be like, look at ha run away.
It's just, it's so ridiculous that those people think that they're doing
a justice.
But it's like, they're just horrible, mean, spiteful people and ugly. I hate it.
Yeah, me too.
Ugh.
But going back to main core of politics, this is a sub of politics. So yeah, for sure. So I'm watching a lot of Daily Show, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting into politics. I'm understanding stuff, and then I find out about Bernie Sanders and his policies, and you know, it's Trevor Noah was really good at this of like, let's question everything. He questioned the Democrats, he questioned the Republicans, like he didn't exclude anybody. And so when Bernie came into the mix and he was talking about his policies, his was the first policy like I had to take a pause on and listen to his reasoning and just resonated about it for a few days. I think I've told you about this, but I'll reiterate what happened. So this was in relation to voting issues. So you know, people who have been, put in the system because they have a felony or anything like that, they're not allowed to vote. Bernie says we need to allow everybody to vote. And the opposing side said, does that include people like the Boston bomber?
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that's a hard one because, like, on one hand, there's people in the system with felonies for smoking marijuana back when it was illegal. But then, there's people like the Boston bomber, and it's like, I struggle with where I stand on that.
Yeah, and it took me legitimately like a few weeks to like really wrap my head around it. And I'm like, okay, but for every one Boston bomber is another 50 minor marijuana charges.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, okay, like I hate that thought process, but I would still rather have those 50 small marijuana charges who get to have a chance to have a say in things, even if that does include that one guy. Like, I hate it.
Yep.
But I understand the meaning of, because his reasoning is, if you exclude one group or another, who's to say we're not going to start excluding others?
See, and that's the thing when it comes to like equality, is equality means equal for everyone. And it's like, if you start, even if you hate it, even if it makes you uncomfortable, if you start excluding groups, then you're no longer
doing it equitably.
Exactly. So like, yeah, as much as it sucks and it makes me uncomfortable with the idea of like a serial rapist voting.
Yeah.
Like,
there's so many more with minor charges that have been put in the system that shouldn't honestly deserve to be in it.
And the fact that like there are still people in the system who have felonies for smoking marijuana back when it was illegal is
baffles me. Like, why aren't those scrubbed? You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's...
So, I don't know. That's a touchy subject, I feel. That one's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of things when it comes to politics is really touchy. But.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, is you have to also just get comfortable with the uncomfortable, you know? Like, we don't like to talk about, like, okay, what's workplace harassment, you know? Where's that line? When does it stop and when does it start?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, you could touch me on the shoulder. That's fine. But, like, are we going, is the chest the stop area?
Mm-hmm.
Is the stomach the stop area when, like, you're like, oh, let me move you aside real quick? Like,
I think you just don't touch people.
Yeah.
Without consent. But, like, I feel like that also just goes for people's personal boundaries. I don't know. Again, that's also hard because everybody's different.
And then you also have to have that face-to-face conversation. Yep. Like, I don't know. Like, when we see each other, like, sometimes we hug, but we don't really physically interact that much, you know?
Yeah.
But that's also how we are versus my mom the other day, actually. She doesn't touch me any, like, okay, that sounds weird. She doesn't touch me anymore. No, okay. My mom is not, like, physically affectionate as in, like, she used to, like, rub my hand or pet my hair.
Yeah.
And over the years, she became a lot more rigid. Like, she had to harden up because of a lot of different life things. And so the other night, I came home after my long day out with you and coming home from a party. I'm like, I've been out for like 14 hours all day today. I'm so tired. And so I sat by my mom on the couch, and she just started playing with my hair like she used to. And I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to acknowledge it. I'm going to let her do this because she hasn't done this in years, you know. And I was like, my mommy.
That's so sweet. Unless I have, like, a good relationship with you, I'm not a super touchy person. I'm like you, like, if you want to give me a hug, give me a hug. And, like, a lot of my friends, they're like, can I hug you? I'm like, yes, you can hug me. But if I don't know you super well, please don't touch me. And, like, I won't usually initiate
contact.
If people ask me or go for it, that's when I'll usually be like, I'm usually pretty okay with physical contact, but I don't usually initiate it.
That's fair.
So, I don't know.
I'm less touchy-feely because of societal norms.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said in a different episode, if I could cuddle a hot guy just because I wanted to, I would.
I do enjoy a good cuddle.
I love a good cuddle. But society says no, so I have to follow societal rules.
Honestly, fuck society, man.
For real. Oh my gosh. But I also, the Mormon that I dated was also Republican. So
that tends to go hand in hand.
With narcissists?
Well, I mean, probably. I think there's definitely, like, liberal narcissists out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Typically, if you're super religious, you tend to be more Republican.
Oh, yeah. He loved, not Ronald Reagan. What's that other guy?
Mitt Romney?
Mitt Romney. I'm like, something with an R. I don't remember. Because Mitt Romney was Mormon. Yep. And so he had, like, Mormon garbs under his clothes,
Mhm.
and like my ex at the time loved him for that. He's like,
See, that's why my mom hated him.
I love it. But he was also like genuinely like, oh yeah, Trump talks to the people like how we talk to them, and I'm like a dumbass. Like I don't understand like that's how I hear him talk, and
Yeah.
I'm like that's not who I want to represent us.
Speaking of Mitt Romney, though, isn't it like crazy that just like a couple of years ago he spoke out against Trump, and we're all sitting here, we're like, why the fuck am I agreeing with Mitt Romney?
Right?
All people, because he's not that great of a guy.
No.
Like I cannot stand him in most of his policies, but when he is talking out against Trump, you're like, hold on.
Something's really wrong.
Don't make me agree with Mitt Romney right now. Stupid.
Is whenever anybody from that side like talks against Trump, I'm like, I don't like you still.
Yeah, you're like, you're still a questionable character, but you're making some really valid points.
You're making sense.
No, it's unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Sorry, I tend to like get really heated about politics.
Girl, same. Like the amount of fights I've gotten into with my parents when it comes to politics, like we would have yelling matches. Like my dad and I would get into yelling matches. Like I remember there was this one time, I think it was this kid in somewhere in the Denver area. He broke into someone's house, and the owner caught him. And when the kid was running away, actively getting out of the house, running away, the homeowner shot the kid in the back and killed him. And while, yes, I'm like, you should defend your own home, but the kid was actively running away. And I remember I got into a really heated argument with my parents about this because they were on the homeowner's side for shooting and killing that kid. They're like, he was defending his home. I'm like, but the kid had his back to the owner. He wasn't like attacking them. Like, yes, awful that the kid broke into their house and was going to rob them. But like, where was the defense?
In the running.
The kid was running away. Like, at that point, you just get law enforcement involved. And my parents are very much the kind of people that are shoot first, ask questions later.
I hate that.
I hate that mentality because, like,
yeah.
We got into this like super heated argument about it, and I remember they're like, oh, what did they say? I'm trying to remember how it went. And like I remember I got so frustrated I started crying because I'm a angry crier. And yeah, they were very much like, yeah, that kid, if a kid breaks into my house, yes, I'm going to shoot them. I'm like, even if they're actively running away, they're not attacking you. They're trying to get, like, it was a kid being a dumb kid.
Yeah.
And now that kid
is
gone. And yeah, I don't know. I feel gun laws specifically is where a lot of the tension comes between my parents and I.
It's just Republicans and Democrats in general, too. Like, I have a cousin, or I had a cousin, sad to say. This was one of the various Denver shootings. He was the one who ran up to the gunman, got shot in the process, but was the only one killed out of the entire school. And it was his senior year, and my cousin died being a hero. And I'm like, it's great that no one else was killed, and my cousin did that, but that's also still a life lost, you know? And so that makes it hard. And honestly, for me, I don't know how to operate a gun. Like, my uncle was like, he very much adamant, like, you need to teach you how to operate a gun. Like, this is how you do it. And I said, no. My dad was nearby. I'm like, no, I'm not going to learn because I never want to hold one. I never want to shoot one. it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. My parents took me to the shooting range when I was in college one time. And it scared me to hold a gun more than I thought that it would. Like, I was in the shooting range and I just like broke down into tears.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sitting there and I'm like apologizing to my parents, like, oh my God, I don't know why I'm crying so hard. But it was a really scary experience.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm holding this
weapon
in my hand that could very easily take someone's life. Like, on one hand, I do think it's a good skill to like just
know how
to do it because of the way things are. But like, I won't go out and I won't buy a gun.
Yeah.
Like, I now know how to shoot one if it ever comes down to it. But like, that's the thing. I never want it to come down to that. And like, I hate that the solution against guns is more guns. Like, I feel like that is
stupid.
Because I remember there was this big debate when I was in high school.
Yep.
About how
we need to have like armed officers.
Where the teachers should be armed. And they were like, yeah, the teacher should be armed. And I just started thinking about all of my teachers. I'm like, I don't want that teacher armed. I don't want that teacher armed. And it's like, it's also not in their job description. Like, as an educator now,
I would never hold a gun to any of my students. You know?
I'm like, if one of my students came in tomorrow and was like starting to shoot people, I don't want to have to be responsible of taking my own student's life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It weighs on your psyche.
It's icky.
And I also had, during that time, that same conversation, my high school science teacher was I want to say Navy. And so she knows how to operate a gun. She knows all that. And one day, like, she was talking to another faculty member, and I just happened to be in the room. And she was like, you couldn't pay me money to hold a gun up to one of my students.
Yeah.
And like, she knows she has
that experience.
And being an educator, she was like, you couldn't pay me for this. I would quit on the spot. Like, I would never do this. And I hate that they want us to do this.
Yeah.
And then they pivoted and they're like, oh yeah, like veterans who no longer serve, like, maybe we should put more of them in school. And I'm like, more guns is not the solution.
Not the
that
solution.
Is the stupidest.
And
adding fire and gasoline to the already blazing school. You know what I mean? I'm like, ugh.
And like here's another thing that I used to get into arguments with my parents was about the whole idea of like background checks and like having to essentially, as my parents put it, jump through hoops to be a gun owner.
Wow.
They're because I remember they were like introducing all of these other policies that would quote unquote make it harder for someone to get a gun. And my parents were legit mad about that. They're like, they're making us jump through hoops and making it harder for responsible gun owners to own a gun. And I'm like, but if you're a responsible gun owner, it really shouldn't be that hard. And you should be like willing, like if you're a responsible gun owner, you should be willing to jump through those hoops to own a gun. And if it's really that difficult for you, maybe
you should.
There's a reason why you shouldn't own a gun.
You know, like other countries. So I watch a lot of documentaries. This guy who was very much in, gun shooting Texas moved to the UK. And he thought the transition of like having guns available and going to shooting ranges, he's like, guns are fun. You get to shoot them, whatever.
Yeah.
But going from there to the UK, where their gun laws are like indestructible, like you cannot have a gun, period. He was like, it now baffles me that America is as lax as they are on gun control. I'm like, you go to any other country, it's impossible for a reason.
What was it? A couple years ago, there was a mass shooting in New Zealand, and the president, she immediately came out and like made the gun laws even stricter.
Yep.
Like,
imagine.
And the whole country was like, cool.
No debate. No, you're taking away my rights. No, everybody was like, yeah, someone just killed a lot of people. Make it harder so people don't do that.
I remember I did a little bit of research on it several years ago now. And Japan's gun laws is that every gun is registered. like they're supposed to be registered. Like here in America, every gun's supposed to be registered, but unfortunately that's not the case.
They also have ghost guns.
Yep. But yeah, in Japan, every gun has to be registered, and they like if you have a gun that's registered, there's like I guess maybe audits or something that happens every couple months where they'll come in and they'll make sure you still have the same amount of bullets and that your gun is locked away safely. Like they strictly monitor
Yep.
the people who own guns. I think it's Japan.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because they have to like have it locked in a safe.
Yep.
They have to like have all the proper documentation for it, why you have a gun, what reason you would have for shooting anybody. Like it really breaks it down to where like, do you understand the weight and responsibility you're holding? In America, I don't think we do enough.
No.
They're like, oh yeah, it's fun to shoot. Pew pew.
America.
America.
Freedom, right to bear arms. And it's, yeah.
I'm like, that's not...
I think you and I were just talking about this between us the other day about that kid's family who is being held accountable. Was that you that I was talking to
Probably.
about that? Where the kid, he went and he shot up his school. And it was his parents. His parents are now being held responsible.
Yeah.
For him shooting up the school because they had warning signs.
Yeah.
Like the school was reaching out to them and was like, hey, your kid is
making threatening
comments. He's drawing up these really scary pictures. And then the parents, they still
brushed
didn't
it off.
Lock the guns away. They didn't get the kid the help that he needed. So then he took the gun, he took it to school, he shot up the school. And yeah, I'm glad that they're holding the parents responsible.
Me too.
For that. Because it's like, yes, the kid needs to be held responsible for doing that, but also the parents were irresponsible.
Yeah.
For allowing him to have that kind of access.
You
and
lead
for
by
not
example,
giving the kid like the help that he needed to prevent that. Like the parents, I do think if a child goes and shoots up a school, the parents should be held responsible for that because you're in charge of that kid.
How did they get that weapon?
How did they get the weapon? Exactly.
Growing up, my dad had one gun in the house.
Yeah.
It was like later on in life. I want to say my middle school years is when he got it because it was one from my grandpa at the time because he passed away. And it was a shotgun. My dad did not tell us where it was. Did not tell us where the bullets were. I didn't know where the gun was half the time. And then when we moved back in, I want to say 2015, oh, there's the gun. I forgot it existed.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't tell us where he had it hidden. And once again, he still probably has it. I have no clue where it is in the household. And I like it that way.
Yeah.
You know, he knows where it is just in case something were to happen. I feel like he would know where to look. Me, on the other hand,
yeah,
I'm good.
None the wiser. And I think that's how it should be, especially if you have children in the house.
That me and my brothers and I have been depressed, anxious our lives. Like I would not trust any of us with a gun.
Yeah.
Therefore, yes, thank you, Dad.
Yeah. No, that is responsible gun ownership.
100%.
Yeah. What was it? What was that kid's name out east who like shot a bunch of people during protest?
Ooh, I don't know.
And like he ended up being idolized across the nation. Oh, what was his name?
You see, the only person I imagined like kind of currently, but not really, being idolized for killing anybody was the Luigi guy from killing the AC Health CEO or this healthcare CEO.
Yeah.
He's so hot. He didn't do it. Follow that meme trail. I saw him at the gas station. He wasn't there. There was also like a cartoon of like how to kill people properly, and it showed like healthcare CEO denying people's claims, and then it showed Luigi killing the guy.
Yeah.
Illegal versus illegal way.
The kid that I'm talking about is Kyle Rittenhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was the one that, so he shot and killed 2 people and injured another during protests following a police shooting.
Oh.
And he's like super idolized What protest was that? Because he was only a teenager at the time.
Was it the No Kings?
This was a long time ago.
Oh.
Just a couple. Well, I mean, not like a long
but not
time
like
ago.
within the
This
last
happened
few years.
during the protests in 2020. But no, he was 17 years old. And it was during, I think it was one of the Black Lives Matter protests, because it was back when that was like super
prevalent. It was when what's his name got shot, likely.
Yeah, something like that. And he shot and killed 2 people, injured another one. And he was they decided that he was not guilty. And now he's like super idolized by people, because people like on the Republican side who are against like the whole Black Lives Matter movement, they're like, he was just standing up for his rights. The protests were unpeaceful, things like that. And it was just really dumb. And they're like, oh, now they're just going to use him as an excuse to take away our guns. And it was really, really stupid. But yeah, he ended up getting no jail time, no prison time. He was found not guilty. And now he's like super idolized.
Yeah.
As a person who has murdered people.
Yep. That is the society we live in.
But then that same side will see people from like Black Lives Matter protests breaking shop windows. And it's like, they're the awful, evil people. It's a double standard.
It is.
That drives me
insane.
Absolutely insane.
I hate it. Well, talking about double standards, want to talk about January 6th?
Oh my God. Speaking of Black Lives Matter protest and double standard.
Yep. So January 6th was the day after I got my heart shattered, where my boyfriend broke up with me, my grandfather died, and all of a sudden my country's going to shit. Cool. It's the best 2 days of my life. But yeah, it's so like, we're watching this on the TV of like, oh, they're taking over the Capitol, shots fired, crazy guy with some horns walking around the White House. Like it's the amount of like insanity and it gave me like Nazi vibes. Like the amount of like crowd mentality and anger. I'm like, how is this a thing? Where is Trump? What's going on? Because he also was like, oh yeah, you guys march to the Capitol and kill the VP. And I'm like, who the fuck says that? Like, and then he denies it to this day. And I'm like, bro, no.
I remember when January 6th happened. I was at home and I was in my apartment was I by myself? No, I was with my then boyfriend and, well, I guess then best friend. Because we were all living together. And we had CNN on. And I remember just like sitting there watching this news footage happen and just being like, what the fuck is this dystopian world that I'm living in? And the people that went to the January 6th protests, especially the ones that were like at the front of that, they were not peaceful at all. It was very aggressive and it was very scary. But then, of course, a lot of the people that got arrested during the January 6th insurrection were pardoned. And it's like, that's where the double standard comes into play, is because they're like, oh, they were just peacefully, quote unquote, protesting.
I peacefully killed a police officer.
They were initiating their right to protest and free speech. But then you look at like the Black Lives Matter protests, and those people were considered awful, hateful. They were destroying property. It's like, and they were all like, you can protest as long as it's peaceful. And for the most part, those protests were peaceful.
Yeah. I think of the No Kings movement. I kind of took part in like one-ish, and I wasn't supposed to be there because my mom was like, "You're not going to a protest," and I was like, I go downtown. I look at their farmers markets open. Hi, no kings. How you doing? You, I love you. And like made my way across. Yeah. But like that continuously, it's grown immensely for hundreds of thousands of people, and each and every time, no destruction of property, very peaceful. And, like, I love reporters. They're like, I hear you're causing chaos. Yeah, I'm causing love, not war.
Speaking of double standard when it comes to protesting, so I went to the March of Our Lives protest, the first one after the shooting at the school in Florida. The Parks, whatever. I can't remember names off the top of my head. I apologize for all the listeners. But I went to that protest, and I remember I told my mom, and I was like, I'm going to the March of Our Lives protest. And it was a protest about guns and school shootings. And I remember my mom telling me, like trying to tell me not to go because she was worried about my safety.
Yeah.
She was like, because she was worried that someone would come to the protest with a gun and start shooting people. Because she's like, there's crazy people. And I'm like, so this is the double standard.
Yep.
Where it's like, on one hand, you're like, don't take my guns away. Like, I have a right to them. But then on the other hand, you're like, oh, but be careful because there's crazy people out there with guns. And it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's just like a natural fear because, like, we see protests and then someone gets their car and barrels into a group of people. I think that's where that fear is coming in. My grandma also told me not to attend the protest, but she also has done a protest before.
Yeah.
And I looked this up as you were talking. March 20th, 1969, Mexican-American students walk out in Colorado. She was part of that walkout. And this was to protest against a teacher who was very racist towards other Chicano students. And my grandma and everyone else, she got her sisters, her brothers, and they're like, what's going on? We need to walk out because someone killed one of our own, you know?
Yeah.
And so they all walked out, and it was such a massive protest. And what ended up happening from this news article, so the students started demanding bilingual classes, Chicano history, and literature to be part of the curriculum, and firing off faculty members, as well as call for teachers to stop advising students to join the military while war raged in Vietnam. So it was like a multitude of demands, and a lot of them were met, you know. So my grandma was part, like, you know, standing up to the people, and like she, you know, is part of history now, which is amazing. But the closest thing I've ever gone to, like, a mass amount of people for a political thing was when Bernie and AOC came to town in Greeley.
Yep, I went to that too.
Yeah, I went 2 hours early because I was like, I really want to see them face to face.
Yeah.
And me and my grandpa went, and I gave him an early time by an hour, but then I looked at the time wrong, so we were gone. We were early by like 2 hours.
Oopsies.
But like the line was already massive.
It was so long. I was one of the I got there an hour early. And I was one of the last people that
got into the main room.
Made inside the main room before they cut it off and made everybody else sit outside.
Yeah, because it was, and then I saw the pictures afterwards of like the massive, like they had like a small sitting area outside for like the overflow. The overflow had overflow, and the overflow's overflow had overflow. Like it was insane.
It was huge.
And I was able to get inside with my grandpa and watch them and listen to them in person. And like I felt so inspired, and it was funny. Like there was like probably like 6 Republicans like on the corner still, like, you know, picketing, whatever. And the rest of the Democrats were like, sup. Like it was so peaceful. It was so invigorating. And I remember Bernie or AOC, one of them was like, this is one of the most Republican counties yet. We have all of you here today. And it was like goosebumps.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Greeley, because Weld County is huge. Like, it is one of the biggest counties in Colorado.
I think the only reason we're Republican is because of gerrymandering.
Yeah. But, like, Greeley itself, especially around the university and inside the university, is definitely more blue.
Yeah.
Like, I think Greeley itself tends to lean more liberal, but because Weld County is such
a huge county.
And it's mostly rural. Like, it's a bunch of farmland and small towns, oil production, things like that, that's where it tends to be more Republican leading.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of, like, Republicans, Democrats, do you consider yourself a Democrat?
I consider myself a progressive.
Same.
Yeah. Because, and I love the way Trevor Noah puts this. He's my idol, to be honest. He's like, every day we should learn to be a better person than we were before. That's what the progressive movement is about, is being better than you were before.
Yep. I look at the Democrats and I look at the Republicans and I tend to see, like, the same picture.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of, like, I tend to lean more towards Democratic policies, but the politicians that represent the Democratic Party, they're just as corrupt and awful. They tend to be just as corrupt and awful as a lot of the people on the Republican side.
Yeah.
And it's just, I look at them and I'm like, this is the same picture. It's that one meme. Tell me the difference between these two pictures. It's the same picture. And and so I hate the idea of calling myself a Democrat because I don't think that I am. I think I am a progressive.
Yeah. So this is, I filters this, but I'm going to say it anyways. So it says, Trevor Noah often critiques the intersection of beliefs, identity, and power rather than left versus right, emphasizing that modern politics require understanding these dynamics. Regarding progressive movements, he has explored the nuances of identity politics and rhetorics and challenges progressive figures faces with political opponents. So, yeah, basically, belief, identity, and power intersect, and just growing beyond, like, what the modern standard is. Like, we do better. That is ultimately what I say as a progressive. Do better.
Also, I'm just tired of all, like, these really old people representing modern politics because, like, I look at people like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton, and while, yes, my viewpoints tend to align more with them, their viewpoints are still, like, incredibly outdated.
Yeah.
And, like, we keep, like, I understand the whole, like, process to become president and that you have to have been in politics for an X amount of years.
It's long and arduous, for sure.
It is. But then, I don't know. I also, like, I look at Trump and I'm like, how the fuck is he qualified?
I don't think there's any educational qualifications for
president. There's not. But, like, why do we keep having these old people represent
us,
our whole country, when, like, most of our country's population are people like yours and my age?
Yeah.
Like, it's like they have such, like, an old way of thinking, and they're so stuck in their old way of thinking, is that these Democrats, they think that they're doing us right, but really, they're not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bestie, we are hitting time. I think this has to be a part 2.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
So, and, wait, should we do a lesson?
A lesson.
On this episode.
The lesson is, I don't know, what's the lesson, Ari?
I don't know. Okay, let me think long and hard. I would say talk to each other.
Yeah.
Whether you agree or don't agree, at least talk to each other, and also establish your boundaries if your opinions clash.
Ooh, that'll be a good thing to talk about more in part 2.
Yep.
Part
okay.
2. All right.
Thanks,
See you guys in the next one.
Bye.